All right, we're live, or at least we're working on it.
Oh, all right. Hello, everyone. Assuming we are live, welcome to the Awesemo.com live before lock show.
Damn it.
I haven't gotten a notification yet, and I don't see the green dot. Oh, there we go. Cool. Yeah, now we're really live. Now we're for really live.
Yeah, I didn't update the tweet, so.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Hey, we're getting live. It's a slow start on Monday, but we're here. We're fully functional. I'm Chris Spags, and joined by the wounded, hot in here, Josh Engelman with his full Nelly regalia. How's it going, Josh?
I mean, it's better now. Got a little dinged up on the eyebrow today in a catastrophic walking directly into a door frame accident. So, there's that.
That is, I mean, is it a thing where I should be concerned about an abusive relationship at home with your wife because you're like, oh yeah, I walked into a door frame? I feel like that's a common thing that people say in similar spots.
So that's the same thing that I said to her. I was like, I've got like the whole battered person story here. I should just be like, I walked into a doorknob.
And then you start breaking down into tears and we have to console you and it's a whole thing. Yeah, that'd be fun. I think it'd be a fun live stream. But besides Josh's domestic issues that have led to wounding on his head, we're talking MLB. We're going to talk NBA. We're going to talk about whatever pops off in the chat. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you are not currently a member of Awesemo.com's premium membership, do it now before you ask us ownership projections and stuff, because we have a bunch of those up, which will tell you where to go, what the most popular stacks are, all of that fun information, which you're going to get from us anyway throughout the hour. So go sign up at Awesemo.com. Josh, where are we going today besides a battered man shelter for you?
I don't think they exist. There's no parades. There's no parades for us, man.
Society.
People don't run 5Ks for dudes.
They should. They should. Man, take the red pill. That's what they should say.
Oh, God. So my top stacks on FanDuel: Cardinals, Orioles, Diamondbacks. On DK, Orioles, Yankees, Cardinals.
Okay, yeah, I like the Cardinals a lot. Also, to catch everybody up on what we discussed on Friday, boy, Kyle Gibson and CC Sabathia did not have good days.
No, they didn't.
No, they did not. Kyle Gibson started hot, and I was like, yeah, show you. And oh boy, that went south. So yeah, I took a weekend off of daily fantasy sports because daily fantasy basketball rather. Because boy, those pitching choices were the worst I think I've made thus far this season.
I took the weekend off as well, but not because you made bad picks.
I think it should have. You should have taken it off and been like, wow, I can't believe we do a live stream together and you chose Kyle Gibson and CC Sabathia. So that is fair. Yeah, that's right. We did switch sides today. Why did we switch sides?
Actually, I could move us back and forth now. It was flip-flopped from with Jake. When there's too many games, your box will lay over more data. There's a bigger gap on the right-hand side of the screen. So, I don't know. That's why.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. There you go. Now you know, chat. That's why we are currently juxtaposed, not to mess with your brains or mine.
I'm going to move it right now, so.
This guy. Oh, congratulations. JM took down his first GPP, a WNBA showdown. So what an honor. I mean, look, as the showdown king myself, it's always a privilege when somebody else can take down their first tournament with a showdown win. And WNBA is a fertile ground for tournaments and stuff, especially as the NBA season ends. So we might discuss it at some point. I think we're doing projections pretty regularly, or rankings rather, on the site. Might even have some projections, so go Awesemo.com, check that out if you are playing WNBA.
Yeah, we might do some write-ups in the future for bigger slates.
Yeah, there you go. So I mean, it's similar principles to the NBA. It just you need to know where to look for the stats and all that. But we have some stuff up there to help you out if you are trying to win like JM did. Yeah, stacks. What in those stacks that you're talking about? Which are you mentioned your main ones, but which are the guys who are popping off? St. Louis in particular, I'm pretty good with, but. See what you're thinking.
I mean, it's most of the team. I'll be above the field on basically everything that I've mentioned, except for the Yankees, where I will be significantly under the field on DraftKings, and same in FanDuel.
There you go. So do you think that the Yankees are going to be so faded that they might almost end up underowned? Because I feel like everything I've read has been like, well, the Yankees are the top play, but there is some justification in fading them on our site, on other sites. Is there like almost a next level of game theory to that, where it almost might be worth having them?
I hope not.
Okay.
I mean, we'll find out once ownership comes out and see what it looks like compared to what we had it set at. I'm going to assume that we're more right than wrong, and I'll be underweight on them, and I'm perfectly happy with that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like the Yankees tonight. The Cardinals I liked a fair amount more. How are you on the Twins? What are your thoughts overall? Dozier looks good to me, but the rest of that lineup I'm actually not crazy about besides the team total.
I'll be really close to even on them at FanDuel. Like right now, I'm slightly heavy on them on FanDuel, but I think that could probably go either way. And then I look to be underweight on them on DraftKings, and that's mostly all due to having less Dozier. Not that I don't like Dozier, but I mean, we've got him projected for astronomical ownership, and I don't totally buy into that process.
Yeah, no, we do have him being, I mean, I think pretty close to half of the slate owning Dozier. So, yeah, in baseball, obviously, in particular, it makes sense to fade a guy like that, given the likelihood of outcomes not breaking his way is just as high as it is him breaking his way. What about pitchers? What are we going for there?
God, it's a crazy night for pitching. So, on FanDuel, Buehler, Berrios, Gio, and Greinke are my top four. And then on DK, same guys that I just mentioned, plus a lot of McCollus, quite a bit of Tanaka. I'll be if our ownership holds, I'll be way under the field on Buehler and Berrios, and significantly higher on Greinke and Gio, which makes me very happy.
Yeah, I think there is a certain paying up to be contrarian with the pitching with Buehler. I mean, Buehler's going to be popular. I think we have him as possibly the most popular player on the slate.
So like a long shot.
Yeah, so Buehler's in a good spot. I ended up still having Berrios. Like, I just couldn't get away from Berrios on DraftKings. But I agree. I think paying up for Gio, paying up for Greinke, if you could afford him, would be great. I also like Tanaka. Like, I was actually going to ask you about Tanaka when you weren't mentioning him at first, because Tanaka, I think, got the highest Vegas total now, or the highest money line total on that side. And generally a good play. I mean, he had one bad matchup versus Boston last time out, but seems like he should draw more ownership than he's currently projected to.
Yeah, I'm relatively even weight on him with the field, but we don't have him graded out all that well, so something's up.
Yeah. Let's see. What do we think about Eliezer Hernandez today? I mean, does it get any better from the last time that we had him?
I don't have him at all. He's got a B value for us on DK though, so.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get enough.
It's not for me.
Time pitching to be of any use.
I would agree.
Let's see.
Rockies. Nope.
Oh, Jake's already got his home run pick in with Brian Anderson, so there we go. He's riding the hot hand. Actually, I like the Marlins in general. I didn't go there lineup-wise. But going against Vargas is not a bad situation for the Marlins.
I assume we didn't get home runs on Friday. I never even checked.
No, I don't think we had any home runs on Friday. Okay. I don't believe. Yeah, I'm not. Are you ready to do your home run pick now?
I'm ready whenever. It's not going to make much of a difference.
It's been that row of red is very painful. Yeah, it's been a tough run for my home run picks. After Josh and I were talking about it before we went on the air. I really made it look easy in the beginning, and I thought maybe this was the one thing I had in life where I just didn't realize I was going to be good at this. Turns out very difficult to predict this. So I'm feel naked every time we're making a pick now, but let's do it. Jake is going with Brian Anderson. He likes the Marlins too, so that's similar thought there. Who would you go with tonight, Joshua? You are Joshua, right?
I'm going to. I am. Okay. Only when I'm in trouble, though, usually. So
you're in trouble for whoever you pick with this home run.
It's immediate family, and generally, it's not a good scenario. Or I had an 8th grade. I think it was 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade, history teacher that would call me Joshua like throughout class, as if I was like, "Hey, can you please make it Joshua instead?" Like he chose to go by that, and I was just like, "Oh, fuck it, what am I gonna do?"
It's so professorial, I think, to be like, "Oh, Joshua, tell me about your English homework." Joshua.
He's a really cool teacher though, so I didn't mind as much if he was someone that like was just a condescending asshole. I probably would have said something. I'm going to follow one of my spotlight hitters for the night, and I'm going to say Jonathan Scope.
Ooh, okay. That's a good matchup, too. The Orioles, general, look good to stack. Actually, a fairly popular stack possibly tonight, but I like that pick. I will go... So I have the wacky guy pick, which has been good to me in the past. But I'm going to go with the better player. I'm going to go with Matt Carpenter.
Also
I just like him
spotlight hitter.
Oh, there you go. I like him going against Kennedy. I want to go Jed Giorco just because he kind of sounds like a Pokemon, and his first name is Jed, which is just tremendous all around. But Carpenter's a better player. Grades out better statistically. So.
Carpenter looks good. He's not that far down the list. Good matchup for someone that gives up a bunch of home runs. Run total looks good. I like it.
All right, so Matt Carpenter is my pick, with Jed Giorco coming behind that. Go Giorco. What a great name. I
feel bad to let you know that it's not Giorco.
What is it?
Jerko.
Oh, that's even better. I was in Jerko. I would absolutely be like,
I think I'm right. Yep, Jerko.
I would want it to be pronounced Giorco if it were Jerko.
Yeah. Wait, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
On a little delay, but yeah.
Sure. I'll pull it up. You can see the pronunciation on Baseball Reference. Jerk-O.
That's even more of a Pokemon name. Like that's like one that Brock would have on the animated show. It was like in the beginning, kind of a bully Pokemon, old Jerko, the Pokemon.
Yeah, there's a select group of like weird, like same with Scope not being like Shoop or anything like that. There's a weird group of guys that were all coming up at the same time that had fucked up names that like they're the only ones that I actually remember. But I can't say Mike Fiers right every single time he pitches, and Jake and I have to talk about him. Or somebody else I fucked up today too. It's bad. It
is kind of an adventure when you're saying names without having heard them pronounced before, especially when they are like the Giorco Jerkos of the world. Because there's no precedence for me ever saying Giorco or Jerko.
Well, the problem is there's no Sports Center anymore. You would have known that if you were like 9-year-old Chris knows that shit because you watched Sports Center for an hour before he went to school. But like that's not a thing anymore where you hear every highlight of it. Like I could have said everybody's name in baseball forever. But now you don't hear that stuff. They don't spell it out for you on whatever the baseball equivalent of House of Highlights is.
I just Jerko is a great name. I like him even more. So Jed Jerko, my backup home run pick, but Matt Carpenter is the actual pick.
All lineups are out officially, if that matters to anybody.
Yeah, everybody go check your baseball lineups. Make sure your guys are playing and active and in good batting order situations. Let's talk some NBA. Why not? Not because Jim Craven, who sounds like a Batman villain name. Jim Craven says so. That's not the only reason we'll do it. But let's talk NBA real fast.
He's Craven basketball talk.
He sure is. He like a real jerko about it too. That Jim Craven. All name jokes in this hour. Where basketball? You did projections for the day, right? What are you doing? What are you thinking? If you were to play,
I've done no projections for basketball.
Didn't you? I thought you were still doing projections.
No, I'm not. No, I retired when they stopped playing only one game on a day.
Oh, well, fine then.
I'm happy to answer questions. I mean, I can get to that point, but yeah, no, I can't churn out projections for one day. I don't believe in them.
Okay, that's fair. Would you play LeBron tonight at LeBron's asinine salary on DraftKings? He's 40% of the salary cap. I don't know what he has on FanDuel, but I presume pretty high.
I'm going to let you know in 1 second.
Okay. The anticipation is...
Would I play LeBron, we'll say, on DK? Oh, that should be Showdown, right?
Yep.
Fuck. Wow, 19-7. Good Googling Moogly.
Mm-hmm.
That's healthy.
Yeah. It's a big price to pay.
Yeah, it is. Alrighty. Would I play LeBron? I don't think you have to. I think you can I think you can get to some decent lines without him.
Yeah, I think it's possible he's not in the winning lineup, but it's just much easier, I think, to get him in there. And I don't know, like the thing is on this slate, especially on DraftKings, like so LeBron, let's say, is going to get you 3x. Like I think is a pretty good, reliable chance to get you 3x. There aren't a lot of guys going above 3x on the slate, at least from what I would project.
Yeah. Man, that's a tricky one. That's expensive as shit. So, like, I'm looking at a line right now. Horford, Tatum, Rozier, Morris, Tristan Thompson, George Hill. I'd entertain something like that. I mean, you obviously need to be heavy on Celtics if you're fading LeBron. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to do. It's hard to fade LeBron and be like, and I think they're still going to win, you know?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big Kevin Love, George Hill, Jeff Green day. Yeah, LeBron's going to sit
LeBron's not putting up 26 and 5 and, like, without the Celtics going bananas, so.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, Vegas seems to think the Cavs are going to win. I think the Cavs are going to win. I would personally have no problem playing LeBron. I think I'm playing, like, pretty much all LeBron in my, 15 or whatever lineups.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. I mean, he came up in like 50% of the stuff that I looked at. So, I mean, it's an either or proposition. George Hill looks to be the most popular guy.
Yeah, George Hill should be very popular. I mean, and I think too he's going to be the guy that Boston's going to try to stop right away because he did all the damage in that first game pretty early. Somebody's asking about Osimo's rankings and his totals. I don't know actually why that's the case. Do you know why that he would have his totals as it being 102, 103, and Vegas is completely different?
It's one of two options. One, it's just wrong, which is feasible. Or two, it's not just based on a smooth average. It's more of a median points than an average points. We usually differ on MLB totals as well. And I know he's mentioned he uses a median run total over an average, and the median runs higher. So I'm probably wrong in that shit.
Yeah, right. I mentioned that he said that's why his MLB stuff is usually different than other sites. I don't know why NBA. I've noticed that's happened a couple times. I don't think it affects his rankings because obviously that's literally what he's using to play. So I'm pretty sure he's not using the incorrect totals to play. It might just be something where he didn't update it, or it's just wrong.
I wouldn't stress about that part of it.
Oh, there you go. Alex in the chat saying he forgot to update the totals, but those weren't part of the rankings. So there you go. Now you know, Mark Caval. And now we all know. Learning is power.
The more you know.
So Drew N saying you need to play 3 to 5 Celtics. Again, this guy is often trolling in the chat, so I'm not sure that that's the thing to take. But let's take that to a serious point and argue it for a second. It doesn't make a lot of sense to play 5 Celtics because the Celtics have a substantially lower Vegas total. I think it's possible like that's an outcome where that could be a win. But that's like to say like you need to play that. Like that's not great advice. That's not smart. You obviously need a Celtic or 2 because that's the whole way the game works. But again, like to say you need a bunch of Celtics when they have a lower team total and a lot of people are like there's a pretty decent chance you have to pay for LeBron. I don't think that's necessarily the smart play, but follow your hearts. Totals are factored into rankings or projections, Mark Caval, but the totals presented on the spreadsheet are not. Like it's not a thing where the grade is derived on a spreadsheet that's being uploaded.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's see. Let's go back to baseball. Somebody's asking about your pitchers on DK. What would you do, Josh, for DK?
Right now I'm underweight on Bueller and Berrios, and I'm hitching my wagon to Greinke, McCollis, and probably Gio. The McCollis one is not jiving at all with our current rankings. Greinke and Gio a little bit more so.
Yeah, I don't love McCollus. I looked at him, and I actually played McCollus a couple times, and he's been fine. But like, he seems to me like the kind of play where we would question his upside. Like, he doesn't get a lot of strikeouts. It's pretty high price for a guy who like doesn't get you a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah, and it's not even the best strikeout matchup either. Royals don't K all that often against righties, but 65% chance to win. Royals only a 3.5 run implied total. They've got no pop whatsoever. 125 ISO as a team against righties for the season. 161 is a league average. So I'm more expecting McCollus to be able to cruise and pick up points from an innings perspective more so than a strikeouts perspective. I think that he has enough. I think he has a better opportunity to like pitch deeper because the Royals' offense is so hapless.
Yeah, no, that's a fair logic. I don't mind Mikolas, but I just don't think that he's like a fantastic play. But I guess there really isn't anybody on the slate who is a fantastic play, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much ownership going to Buehler and Berrios that I'm perfectly fine like transitioning that to someone else. And if it's McCollus, all the better. What do I have his line? How many Ks do I have him projected for? 6.3. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I also have Walker Buehler projected for 8.5. So.
What are your thoughts on Trey Turner tonight? I don't have any Nationals.
Love him. I like the Nats quite a bit. More on DK than on FanDuel. But I'll be well over the field on Trey Turner. I have it up here now, actually. Yeah, it's 32% Trey Turner, 25% Trey Turner on DK.
He's very highly ranked on Awesomo's rankings for DK, so that is noteworthy. But I don't know. Didn't land on him.
Very highly ranked on both.
Okay, so there you go. It's Hylon Kondo. Which is a stone cold lock stack tonight? Josh, you want to give your stone cold lock stacks? Not the ones that like, I know usually you give ones that like might do okay and you pretend they're good. But what's your actual good stack tonight?
I mean, I guess my answer has to be the Orioles. They're my second best stack on FanDuel and my primary stack on DK. So, I mean, they've got a better overall ranking than anybody else for me. I gotta speak to where my data is. That's who I've got the most of.
To be clear, this is a stone cold lock. So you play this, you're winning tonight.
Yeah, that's what
was asked.
That's absolutely how this works.
Okay, good. Because Tylon Kondo specifically asked, like, what's your for sure one? I don't want to give him one that's not 100% sure. And we traffic in the 100% certainty game here.
No, that's the stone cold lock, not the Tatanka lock or the Bam Bam Bigelow lock.
I like how those were the other options for a pick.
I was trying to think of other guys that were in Money Inc. when Stone Cold was the ringmaster.
It's not the 1, 2, 3 kid lock. It's not the Kamala the Supreme Fighting Machine lock. It is the Stone Cold lock.
So Kamala the Supreme Diabetic Machine.
He was. I like that twist when he came back as the Godfather, and it turned out that he was married with a lovely wife, and they were like, "Oh, sometimes you gotta grow up, brother." And I was like, "Oh, that's actually like a nice moment for WWE, the billion-dollar TV business."
I had him in the death pool at one point in time, and I wanted fractional points when he lost a leg.
The Godfather? No, you're thinking of Kamala. Well, no, but that's like the Godfather was the same guy as Kama, the Supreme Fighting Machine.
Yeah, I'm talking about Kamala, the fat dude with like the moon.
Yeah, with the racist thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had him in the death pool, and I wanted fractional points when he lost part of his body.
Okay, I was talking about the Godfather as Kama, the Supreme Fighting Machine, because he was in Money Inc.
I heard Kamala, and then nothing changed after that. I just kept getting stuck on making losing your leg jokes.
Okay, and Papa Shango, that's right. What 3 diverse characters for that guy. Good for him.
And the Good Father, and something else that I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
The Good Father was just the Godfather with another O and like a heel turn. That wasn't a drastic change.
It's still a different character.
True. Those are 4 noteworthy television characters. Good for him. Good for whatever, like Charles Wright, I feel like his real name is. Something like that. Machado or Trey Turner on DK? Which would you go with?
I mean, I guess the answer is Machado. I have more Machado than Turner, but I have them both in abundance, so play 2 lines.
I'll go just Machado. I didn't play any Trey Turner in my handful of lineups, but I did play Machado. So that's how you should decide your choices. Thoughts on Tanaka? We've given a few times. I like Tanaka. Josh, you like Tanaka, but you're not in love with Tanaka.
I'll be like neutral to the field for Tanaka tonight.
Yeah, you have like a frenemy relationship with Tanaka.
I like him. He's just not popping up any further. So I've got him in like 20-something% of lines. That seems like a lot, right?
Classic frenemy relationship. Favorite catcher on DK? Favorite catcher on DK not named Sanchez. Okay, there are a lot of.
Let's find out.
Are there multiple Sanchez's or just Gary?
There's just one.
Okay.
But I've got him.
You're just being cute. I just didn't know if we had 2 good Sanchez's. Sanchez's.
It's probably Real Muto, but let me make sure that I have the same sort of information. Josh, FanDuel ownership. And DK. Give me maybe Severino. He's a guy that I'm getting a lot because of like a twin stack. I mean, if we're talking about one-off, that's a very different question.
Right.
So if we're talking about one-off, no regards to a stack, then I think that Real Muto has the next highest chance as the highest scoring catcher. He grades out well for us as well, so I guess that's probably my answer. But I don't know. I would probably just try to get a catcher in part of my stacks.
Yeah, I like Real Muto. I think is the best overall catcher play besides Sanchez. For me, I just had my stacked catchers. So that's Castillo, because I have 1 White Sox stack, and Pena, so I have a Cardinal stack. So I like Castillo and Pena as far as stacked catchers go, but I probably wouldn't one off them. Maybe Castillo. I don't.
Yeah, like I barely have Real Muto because I don't really have any Marlins.
Yeah, but I like the Marlins tonight. I just didn't get there.
Yeah, neither did I.
This guy's citing some stats with Bueller's regression coming. I mean, Bueller still grades out pretty well, though. Like, even though he got rocked last time, at least from what I look at. I mean, he's middle of the pack, closer to middle of the pack, which is where he should be. This XFIP has still been really good. I think he's actually got the best XFIP on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, he's... the Rockies have the lowest run total on the board. The Dodgers are 63% to win the damn game. Walker Buehler's projecting for the most ownership on the slate. So if you know something that the other 50% of the people don't know, let me know.
Yeah, look, I think Mike, I think you're okay to fade him. Like I think we're both.
Oh yeah, like I'm gonna have less than the field on him, but that's not necessarily like the point of it all. Well, I mean that's the ultimate goal, but I mean there's a reason he's owned that much tonight.
Right, and it's also at Dodger Stadium, which is not a friendly hitting park, so it'd be different if it were at Colorado, then sure. But I think
exactly.
This guy asking, are we smashing David Dahl? No, I don't. Like, I don't think Buehler is a fantastic play, but I don't think the Rockies are like a good play either. I mean, I think it's gonna be one of those where
I
like
don't have Rockies at all.
I think Buehler will give up enough to like not be crazy valuable, but I don't think the Rockies are gonna like smash him. I don't know.
Yeah, I won't have a Rockies lineup. I would imagine maybe one. I probably should, but I don't.
We like doing the contrarian, like, I mean, Jake and I in particular have talked about it, I think, during our shows a few times, like stacking against the guy who's going to be super highly owned. But I don't, Buehler doesn't strike me as that sort of play, like where you need to go there. I think, Mike, you're right with this case. Like, don't stack the Rockies, but probably don't want to play Buehler. Or at least not at, like, high volume given his ownership levels.
Yeah, like, I can't... 3-run implied total. They've got a 65 weighted runs created plus against righties on the season. I mean, they're just really bad. Man, you're betting on a really, really specific scenario that you need to happen for that to like pay off in any sort of way. Because then you got to also get the Rockies stack right.
Right. Yeah,
I don't mind
agree.
having a line or two, but like those guys should not be owned for good reason.
Yeah, I'm with you. Would you go Judge or Stanton when you're picking between them on FanDuel? I would go Judge. Judge is much better.
Stanton.
Really, Stanton? Stanton's been...
It's not even close for me.
Stanton's been worse versus righties this year, though, by like a fair amount. And Judge is not.
I have 3% Judge on FanDuel and 25% Stanton.
Huh. Well, I personally...
9% Judge on DK and 28% Stanton.
I like Judge more than Stanton tonight, but like I have no problem playing Stanton versus lefties because he's killed lefties this year. He just hasn't hit righties or hasn't seen righties as well. So I generally would avoid Stanton tonight, but I mean, look, the total's there, and Cologne is obviously a matchup that can be won.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about the righty-lefty split against Bartolo Colon.
Yeah, look, I think there's reason. I mean, we've discussed fading the Yankees. Like, I think Cologne has been competent enough this year where there's a logic in not going crazy on the Yankees either way.
Yeah, no one has that BVP because that is something that no one's looking at. Not here, at least.
Yeah, no, I just like Judge because he hits really well versus righties. That's all I care about.
Look, I get it. He grades out really poorly for me. Now, Judge, did we talk about that on Friday? Judge might be my Oladipo.
Yeah, I think we did briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Judge grades out well for me. I actually have I think at least one Judge tonight. I think in a one-off. So yeah, I'm okay with Judge. Stanton, 3K outfielder one-off on FanDuel. Do you want to take that one from Jeremiah Johnson? Not a bullfrog, but was a good friend of mine.
Sure.
Only because he has that name. It's the only reason he gets his questions answered.
All right. 3,000?
Yeah, 3,000.
Okay.
3,000 or under.
$3,000. Oh, outfielder too, right? Shit. Marcelo Zuna.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Zuna's the one guy who didn't grade out that well for me in that stack. I like Tyler O'Neill. That's one thing that I'll agree with Drew N on. I think Tyler O'Neill looks good tonight, but not a great sample size. But he's just been smashing lately.
Haven't we all?
Do you play guys like Tyler O'Neill at all, like at any volume? Because like he has no sample size, but he's homered I think in his last 2 games.
Probably. Tyler O'Neill. Wait, he's not playing today, right?
No, he's playing on the Cardinals.
Oh, there he is. I don't know why I missed him. Yeah, I have a fucking astronomical amount of him on FanDuel, and basically none of him on DK.
Okay.
He's he's only $200 above the minimum on FanDuel, so I've got him out the ass.
You know, he's been priced up pretty reasonably on DraftKings, but you know, still a good matchup. And again, he does have home runs in 2 straight games. He does have power. I didn't realize. Apparently, he's got really great arms. So if we want to look up his arms too, Josh, if that makes you feel better about rostering Tyler O'Neill.
I didn't hear what you said. My bad.
Apparently, Tyler O'Neill has really great arms, is what Ryan Shearer says.
I don't even know what that could mean.
Like, he's probably got, like, big old arms. Like, big old tree trunk. Maybe sexy. Maybe he's got great triceps. I would like to know what routine he's doing. I'll look up Tyler O'Neill's arms.
You know who doesn't?
Who?
Jim Abbott.
Yep. I mean, literally, he could not have good arms. He's pretty jacked.
Yeah.
This Tyler O'Neill character.
I thought you were talking about Jim Abbott. I was like, yeah, I'm sure Jim Abbott would still kick the shit out of me, too.
Now, Tyler O'Neill's got, like, a Tebow build.
I've got, like, a Tebow build if Tebow never did anything.
No, but Tebow's still got that big, like, a little bit of raw-boned country, possibly closeted homosexual man thing going for him, which would be tough to top, I think.
Man, like, if he's as wholesome as it seems, I feel really bad for him in a way because he should have just cleaned up at Florida. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Chris Leak did in his stead.
Right.
Chris Leak.
Could you imagine being Tebow, but Tebow being like, a normal guy that goes to college? Whew.
Oh yeah. You would be married though, I think, by now. Probably some nice cheerleader from Florida who he'd like dated throughout the years, and then she just kind of weathered the storm and fit the profile well enough.
No, he'd be like, was it McCarron? Who was McCarron dating?
Oh, Catherine Webb.
Yeah, like that's some Tebow shit that he should have been pulling off.
Yeah, it's true. Are they still together? Catherine Webb is kind of fallen off the radar.
Honestly, I couldn't know any less.
McCarron got traded somewhere too, right? Is he on the Bills now?
I think so, yeah.
That's an interesting quarter. I'm excited for football. I can't wait to I'm like, if assuming the site still exists and whatever, I want to really research stuff for football. Like do that during the summer. Get really prepared for football season. Watch some AJ McCarron highlights. Google photos of Catherine Webb. See how it is.
What the fuck is going on here?
Can you see Chris Davis going yard off of Santiago or Escobar going yard off of Hardy?
Yes.
Which outcome would you pick more? Let's go with that.
Probably Escobar. Yeah, probably Escobar.
It is Escobar season.
It came back.
It's always nice when Escobar season returns, and we're just always shocked each time. I probably would go Escobar too. I don't like Santiago though, so I mean, look, I see nothing wrong with playing Chris Davis, but I'd probably go Escobar. Running around 50 lines pretty much faded the Yankees crazy. No, we've said pretty much since the beginning of the stream it's totally fine to fade the Yankees at some volume. They're going to be
you don't want to go 0 Yankees. I think that's a bit too much of a course correction. But being under the field, I don't think is the worst idea in the world.
I'm with you on that. I think actually Osmo's premium article today, where he breaks down his kind of holistic view of the slate, indicated similarly as well. So, which you would know if you were an Osmo.com premium member, so go sign up. Again, lots of content going up each day, ownership projections, rankings, all that stuff, which would help you out and help you win more. In the MLB, the NBA, maybe even the WNBA. Yeah, who knows?
It makes me happy when I'm doing things that agree with the things that he writes about later on in the day.
Yes, I agree. It does. It's a sort of validating pat on the head experience.
Yeah.
Have we done any research to see the correlation of start time and ownership percentage? Like, do more people play earlier games because they don't want to wait around and or play catch up all night? I don't think that's something we would have access to. That's more of like a DraftKings data point that they probably wouldn't want public. I don't know. I mean,
because in theory you can do late swaps on guys later. So like, we wouldn't really know what the 7th, like if somebody's, what would be a good example? Like, if things aren't necessarily going well for you at 7 o'clock and you've got the Yankees at 8:05, you might pivot off the Yankees to like the Dodgers at 10 o'clock. I mean, that's not happening all that often, so you can probably check that out. I would guess it doesn't matter all that much. I don't think people are just drafting people because they play at a certain time. At least not in baseball.
Yeah, I agree. Football, I think that's probably more of a thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to save those pivots, and then they'll go to like a lower percentage guy if they do well in the early slates. So yeah, I think it's possible that that's like a thing, but yeah, I don't think people are generally grading that much. So I feel like you've mentioned that a couple times. Where you're like, I don't want to play a guy on the West Coast.
I mean,
maybe that was basketball.
I wouldn't be surprised if the later games have less, but I don't think it's like a conscious decision as much.
Do you play MLB Beat the Streak?
No.
Nor do I. I play MLB Beat the Meat. That'd be weird if that were a sponsored game.
Would it? I think I can get to DiMaggio on that one.
DiMaggio could have definitely gotten to DiMaggio on that one too.
I don't think he ever had to beat it himself.
True, but I feel like at that level of success, you probably just like, I don't know.
I never really thought about that. Like those guys probably just never cranked one. Just never had to.
Yeah, maybe sometimes they prefer their calloused war pine tar hands. I don't know. You don't want to.
That's not how you end up with like 10,000 broads like Ric Flair or Wilt Chamberlain or something.
Like if the equivalence between like Zannied out Marilyn Monroe or your own hand, you might go with the hand. Just a thought. Just a thought. Gets tedious.
Does it?
It could. Well, they always say no matter how beautiful. This should be a gender neutral expression, but no matter how beautiful of a woman there is, somewhere there's a guy who's sick of fucking her. Is the expression, and that applies for a lot of different aspects of life.
Yeah, that's probably. There's probably something wrong with the guy in that scenario too, though.
Look, if Joe DiMaggio likes his calloused pine tar hands to stroke his penis, I think that's fine. Whatever worked for Joltin' Joe, it's fine by me. Whatever got Joe jolted, I'm okay with. Stacks. Actually, no. Some guy asked about the Mets stack. Would you stack any Mets tonight?
I have, I don't know, probably like 6 or 7 lines worth of Mets on FanDuel, maybe 2 on DK. So, no. I guess not. Sorry, Beto. I think it was Beto that asked before.
Ryan Shearer pointing out that there is some bad data on Chris Davis on Jake Hari's personal website, baseballsavant.mlb.com. So keep that in mind if you're playing Chris Davis, that Jake's website has some bad data that would go anti-Davis. Good to know.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of Chris Davis tonight, and I have a ton of Orioles, but Davis doesn't make the cut.
Is there a woman who would be sick of having sex with Brad Pitt? I assume is the implication of Metal Burning's question. I would say that probably, yeah. Like, you probably get tired of Brad Pitt at some point too. Angelina Jolie did get kind of tired of Brad Pitt. She got tired of him being a fuckboy relative to her view of the world. So I think that actually is proof of it.
I guess getting tired of is relative.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. It is. It's all supply and demand based.
Yeah. I'm sure it's really easy to do if you can just corral whatever tail you want to.
Yeah, like Brad Pitt's not struggling, so he's got a world of opportunities. Angelina Jolie, despite her advanced age and satchels full of children, has a world of opportunity in front of her. So I'm sure there's a metaphor to tie it all together with DFS somehow about choosing things that are less in front of your eyes. But I'll be damned if I get there on a Monday. On DK, would you rather go Abreu and Carpenter or Martinez and Rendon? For me, that's Abreu and Carpenter, and actually one that I have. So
yeah, probably Abreu and Carpenter.
Carpenter,
it's close, though. I like Rendon a lot.
I like Carpenter a lot, so fuck Rendon. How is the Padres bullpen? Why would you apologize for caps but just not capitalize?
Yeah, I was going to ask that question, but then I just didn't care.
How is the Padres bullpen? Do you have an opinion?
They have a bullpen for sure.
Sure. Yeah, not something I check out for my research.
Padres bullpen is pretty good. Well, it's fine. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine.
Have we announced for Beto who is getting the donks tonight? Josh, your pick.
Jonathan Scope.
And I went with Matt Carpenter, and Jake Hari, owner of BaseballSavant.mlb.com, went with Brian Anderson of the Marlins. So, if you want to trust a real professional opinion, Brian Anderson is the one to go with.
Owner of Baseball Savant, noted Minnesota Twins homer.
That's right. There's like too many laureates to hand to Jake at any given time, but he is a known lover of the Twins and owner of BaseballSavant.mlb.com.
Yeah, he wears a lot of hats.
He does. For a guy with a shocking lack of clutter in his bedroom, he wears a lot of hats.
You can't see the opposite side of the room where all the hats are. It's just shelves and shelves of hats that he wears. I hope you're still there, Jake.
I hope he let's save the timestamp so he knows when to reference if he has to rewatch. Jake misses all the Jake segments that are really the value adds. But go follow Jake Hari on Twitter at Jake Hari, JakeHari.
Isn't it just at Baseball Savant?
He actually on Twitter he goes by @Cut4. That's his handle on there. Very big on GIFs and animated things. That Jake character, diverse man of interest. A catcher under 3K. What would you go with?
Can we just do this?
I don't think we did under 3K. That's the qualifying. And this guy's name is Jeremy Idlebird, which is a fun name.
A catcher under 3K on DK?
I would assume so, yeah, because you
that makes sense.
Don't have to.
I mean, what the fuck? I've got Pedro Severino projected as the top guy out of everyone in that shit range. I also have him the most. So I guess Pedro Severino.
Yeah, I don't. Is Pena? I don't mind Francisco Pena under 3K, but that's only because I have a Cardinal sack. So besides that, I'm not crazy about him.
Well, Jason, yes, there are tons of ways to fit in Judge and Stanton.
Name one.
God damn it. All right, where's Judge?
I double dog dare you to name one way to fit both.
All right, there's Stanton. Where's Judge? I don't have it. Pain in the ass. Outfield. Salary. Judge. Stanton. 10. It's going to be really funny when there's not.
Are you taking old
Walker
guns?
Buehler, Diamondbacks and Giants, or Diamondbacks and Yankees stack. Tanaka with Cardinals, Jay Bruce. Barrios with the Twins, Yankees, and Martin Prado. Yeah, tons of ways.
There you go. All right. I double dog dared you, and you came through. So I don't know what that means for that guy, but there you go. Whatever, whoever that was.
My tongue to that poll.
Anything good? Gio or Barrios, if price doesn't matter.
Gio or Barrios. Which site?
The site might be pricedoesn'tmatter.com.
I mean, the answer matters then. My answer is Barrios on FanDuel and Gio on DK.
Yeah, I would say Gio's a safer play to me. Barrios probably has maybe a little. Like probably the same upside. Yeah, just Gio's a safer play. So I mean, if you have the money to spend, great. If you don't, then you're paying for Barrios along with half the field.
I have Barrios projected 0.7 points higher than Gio on DK.
Okay, interesting.
So, if that helps.
Would you go Jonathan Shoop Scope or Brian Dozier?
Scope for sure.
His nickname should be Shoop.
I'm gonna tag you in a YouTube video of Shoop if he goes yard today.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's
Scope for me because Dozier's gonna be like 35+% owned, and Scope will be like 6% owned, and that's a chasm that shouldn't quite exist the way that it is.
Yes, I think if I had to pick a guy, like if we were doing like a dong thing with Scope or Dozier, I'd probably go Dozier. Like if in terms of likeliness of having a big day.
Yeah, Dozier, I have Dozier projected more than Scope, but when I get asked like, would I prefer X or Y, I'm taking ownership into account.
Yeah. Okay. So we're in agreement then.
Otherwise, all we're doing is just playing pick'em. You know. Then there's only one lineup you should take.
Oh, somebody was asking, would you take our boy Jerko or Guns Tyler O'Neill? Which of those would you take? I think it was on FanDuel.
Tyler O'Neill.
Okay. That's a tough choice for me. I like both guys equally. I think they are both a part of a well-balanced diet.
Like he's $500 cheaper than Jerko. I mean, you can. It's just too cheap.
Jerko sounds like something that Bender would say on Futurama, and like I really can't get off of it.
I never really watched Futurama.
Oh, you would like Futurama. It's a great show. Bender in particular, I think, fits the criteria of things that would make you laugh.
I really don't like Katie Seagal.
Really? I love her.
And like I watched all of Sons of Anarchy. There's something about her. Like I hate it. Maybe it's just like I can't get Peg Bundy out of my head.
She's worse on Sons of Anarchy. Like that character was
terrible, horrible person.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I didn't like her in like the two things that define her life now. And I hear her voice, and then I just picture being like a biker whore.
Yeah, I always love Married with Children, so I think that helps for me. But like I don't hear that when I'm watching Futurama. Like she's a very different character. Like it's a strong female character, and with one eye. That's also important.
But like you like Married with Children mostly because of Al, right? Like no one's watching that show for anything other than that.
I enjoyed the overall dynamic. Like that was a good ensemble show. But yeah, Al was certainly the big draw.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
And I thought Peg was sexy too. Like I enjoyed. Like it was always odd to me as a kid that like Al didn't want to have sex with her, and I guess like as an adult you get it more. It's like, oh yeah, But like, but as a kid you're like, why wouldn't he? Like she's not that bad. Like her hair's a little weird, but like she's got a fat ass.
I don't know. I'm looking at old pictures of Peg Bundy, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing.
I don't know. History might not shine that well on it. I don't know. I haven't watched it in a while, but.
It's not my cup of tea.
Also, there is a road to a reboot of Married with Children now that Modern Family's almost done. I think she's on a show that might be wrapping up soon. There is a chance for that to come back, which would kill David Faustino. I mean, boy, he would be excited to get a paycheck. He's thrilled. Christina Applegate would probably do it too at this point.
Oh, I mean, if this went to like Netflix or something, it would be ginormous.
Mm-hmm.
If they can make Full House be popular again, Jesus.
You know, honestly, that show's not bad. Fuller House, not terrible. I've watched it a few times.
Can't do it.
Been watched it. It's good. Well, Buxton. What do you think about Byron Buxton today?
I'd guess I have a decent amount. No, I'm actually underweight on him probably on FanDuel, and so I assume I definitely am underweight on him on DK.
Yeah, I didn't have him mostly because I didn't have his stack a ton, but I don't mind him. You know, especially for a guy hitting in. I think he's in the 9 slot. So yeah, I didn't mind him. Would you go? This is an odd question given the price difference. Would you go O'Neal or Pham at outfielder?
I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that.
It's a pretty big price. I would go Pham. Personally,
well, I mean, it's $2,100 on FanDuel, so I assume we're talking about DK, and it's at least a practical discussion.
Yeah, still $1,000, I think, on DK.
It's Pham on DK, and it's O'Neal on FanDuel.
Yes, yeah, okay, I'm with you on that. I like Pham. I think there's a logic. I think Pham's going to be the highest owned part of that stack. I don't know if actually if our data backs that out, but let's see.
What's the question? I have him here.
Is Pham the highest owned part of the St. Louis stack? I would assume so.
Now, Carpenter.
I know. Oh yeah, my boy Matty Carps. All right, but still though, I mean, the logic though would be to go to O'Neal to get off of Pham. I think.
I don't know what to cheer for tonight because I'm overweight on Buehler and Berrios on FanDuel and dramatically underweight on them on DK. So. I mean,
I think you're just rooting for money at that point.
I guess I'm taking a beating on one of these.
Yeah, probably. Somebody asked something. Oh, Shabazz Muhammad tonight for NBA. Probably Greg Monroe if I had to pick one. I don't mind Semi at 1,300 on DK. Greg Monroe at 1,500 though. He's not a great play. He is a totally okay play who might get 6 fantasy points, which can be enough given how stupid showdown slates go. Why is Jose Martinez the lower owned guy of that stack? That's actually a pretty fair question. I think for me, he was because I wanted to go another direction at first base. But Josh, why would you think that Jose Martinez is the lowest owned part of that stack?
That's a great question. He's not for me. I've got like 4 times our projected ownership for him. So let me look at it a little bit closer.
That could be how you differentiate. I mean, that's something we don't talk about, but there are ways to differentiate with the stacks themselves.
Honestly, I don't know. He grades out really well for me. I have a ton of him. I'm way overweight on him. Because most people are wrong. That's really like the only way that I could land on it. I assume you have him like rated well too, right? Yep. Huge ratings. So I don't, because most people are wrong.
I think for me it was because his power numbers jumped out the least out of a lot of those guys. So he like
that's fair.
His numbers on FanGraphs in terms of isolated power, he's got less than Pham, less than Churko, less than Carpenter. I mean, even the guys who are out, less than Fowler, less than DeJong. So I think that was why I didn't land on him. Plus, I wanted to play Abreu at first base when I first kind of landed on my lineup that I'm going with the Cardinals in.
He's more of a good regular hitter than fantasy hitter.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because
that might be why.
Yeah, like home runs are a bigger part of, like if you re-weighted WOBA for fantasy scoring, you know, Martinez would grade out with a lower WOBA than he does currently because he's kind of a different hitter. Yeah,
but he still grades out pretty well in WRC plus and stuff like that.
He's good. He's just it's one of those weird things. So
yeah,
I have an assload of them.
Okay, so there you go. So probably in for a good night, but you know maybe not going to get you maybe not a great dong pick. Let's put it like that. But maybe a great dong. Who knows? I don't want to judge Jose Martinez's penis without knowing.
You know what? It'd be really never mind.
No. Go ahead, please.
No. I'm going to eat this one.
You're going to eat that Jose Martinez stick?
You know, it's probably in our best interest for me to not continue what I'm saying.
That's fair. Would you take Stanton or the Philly Fanatic at utility? Probably Stanton.
I mean, I wouldn't take the Philly Fanatic anywhere, but I don't know, to push him off a bridge.
I would take him to a nice dinner. I bet his costume smells, though, I've heard.
I hate Philly.
It's fair. Fulte as a lower-owned starting pitcher, I've heard that said possibly on a premium article on Osmo.com. I don't mind Fulte.
I am not there. Our overlord is. You should assume his opinion is better than mine.
Yours might be biased by being a Braves fan who has experienced the Fulte-Nevich roller coaster. The Fulte coaster
coming out of me, man. I don't touch that shit.
Oh.
When it comes to fantasy, there are no biases in my game. I take what it gives me. I don't have some like weird thing where I knock 10% off of Braves pitchers and 10% off of Braves hitters just on a basis.
Would you go Greinke and Walker Buehler or Gio and Fulte-Nevich for a GPP?
Gio and Fulte.
Yeah, I think for a GP, well, Greinke I think might be too expensive to get ownership, and I feel like he's pretty safe. So I think that might balance out the chalkiness of Buehler.
Hold on. So that's what? Buehler and Greinke?
Yeah.
Or wait, what the fuck? Oh, that makes sense.
Or Gio and Fulte.
Gio and Fulte. So Gio. If our ownership projections are meant to be assumed to be correct, or as correct as we can like hope they would be, Buehler and Greinke as a combo, we could expect to be owned around 8% of the time. It's 7.5% of the time. Whereas the other combo, Gio and Fulte, less than a percentage point. So, you know, in a tournament with 100,000 people, or no, that's a bad example, 25,000 people, you'd expect like 100 people to have that second one, and you would expect like 1,000 or 2,000 to have the other combo. So, yeah, I would definitely go Gio and Fulte. I have a lot of, like, I'm double the field on Gio in this scenario, so.
Though I would say, like, you know, with that kind of logic, I mean, it depends on your stacks, too. Like, I think if you have a fairly contrarian stack, and, if you're building, like, one sort of safer, chalky pitching rotation, and you're pairing it with, like, a a smaller owned stack. I think there's logic in that from just like a game theory perspective.
Sure, like we're ignoring the hitter portion of that, but like if you have the Yankees and the Cardinals or something like that as your two stacks, then I would want to go with the Geo combo.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I think it's just, something that we would try to impart when you're making these lineups is like, if you're a chalky lineup, like, we try to generally advocate to get off of chalky pitchers if you can. But if you believe those guys have the best success outcome, there are ways to get less chalky too, to differentiate.
Right, like the Walker Buehler portion of that doesn't have to be the pivot. You can have Buehler and whoever else you want to say is chalky, and then go to, I don't know, like a Braves Diamondback stack or something.
Yep, I agree. I think that there's a lot of ways to slice it, and the slate's big enough where you can approach it a couple different ways.
More than one way to skin a cat.
That's also like kind of a sad expression. Like, why are people skinning cats?
Why are there more than one way?
Well, I assume
who sat down at a table and was like, well, I do it this way. And it's like, oh, well, I throw it in boiling water first. And it's like, more than one way to skin a cat. And then it just took off from there. And
then they just ritually murder some cats together and experience it. That's what a delight.
Do you think there's a book somewhere that details the ways to skin cats?
It'd be a bit of a downer of a book. I hope it's just illustrated and not like with photos. That wouldn't be fun. I like cats.
Other animals be skinned like in multiple ways, or is it only cats that have multiple ways and there's only one? Like everything else is just we only do it once.
I assume buffaloes could be skinned a wide variety of ways because like that's a Native American thing too. So you're talking about like different ways. That Chinese food is not cat meat. That's being racist. That's inaccurate.
Even if it is, who gives a fuck? Then it's delicious. Why are we acting like like you can't eat a cat just because you have it as a pet? I'd eat any animal. I wouldn't want to eat my own personal dog, but if somebody fed it to me in like the Philippines or something stupid, I wouldn't freak out.
No, I wouldn't.
Pigs are cute as fuck. Doesn't mean bacon's not delicious.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I would prefer not to know. Like, if you were gonna give me cat meat, like, cool, like, give me the cat meat, but don't tell me the cat part first, because I have enough.
It's a house pet first. That's the qualm in it all.
Yeah, I've eaten snake before, but I don't like snakes as pets.
I had shark for dinner, it's whatever.
I have had rabbit. They're pretty adorable.
And delicious.
Yeah, they are delicious. And deer too. I mean, venison is like one of my favorite meat.
Duck
and like deer would probably fuck you up though. So
duck is delicious. And
duck is great.
Kids cartoons out of that motherfucker.
Yeah, duck. I mean, duck is delicious. Birds though, they're never getting that love from me. Where I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I'm not going to eat you, bird. I would eat like somebody's parrot if it were down to it.
If somebody was like, oh, Fido's not doing so great, so we wrapped him in foil and buried him in the yard on top of coals. So we're gonna dig into that shit in like 8 hours. We're like, now I'm gonna go home. Like, if I was just out and about, that's fine, whatever. Just me.
It is all about perspective.
We'd eat the shit out of them if the world was fucked.
Would you go Love or Horford in a DK showdown?
I don't know, man. How am I supposed to get back to sports conversations? We just talked about eating house pets.
I would go Love. I think Horford is going to be slightly contrarian today. And I think that Horford is also more integral to what the teams have to do, I guess is the best way to put it. So I like Horford in that component of pairing him with LeBron a little more, but I probably played more Love anyway, just because there's a lot of risk playing Horford. And how many DFS sports do you guys play, Josh?
I don't know, all the main ones, I guess.
Yeah, this is my first time playing baseball.
At some point in time, I'll start fucking with golf.
I want to start. Golf tournaments are real big, so I feel like I should. We have rankings and stuff, but I don't think, we don't have anybody writing it yet, though, again, we've talked about it soon, hopefully. I don't know. Golf I'd like to get into. But for me, it's just the big three.
When I have, like, a big red number on the Slack channel, when I look at my phone at the end, I'm always really hopeful that it's just the site notifications and not Tom being like, can you guys stop talking about eating house pets?
I see my notifications from Slack come through on the screens. Like I know when it's like we're being yelled at during, which doesn't happen often. To be clear, they're very tolerant, but but no, we're clear. It's just NBA rankings and MLB rankings.
I looked down and I was like, oh shit, that's 11.
No, we're fine. We're fine. Look, it goes. The conversations may veer into mature subjects. Everybody knows that.
Something like that.
Does golf DFS have more variance than baseball? I would assume so.
I would assume no.
Really? Golf?
Yeah.
Yeah, courses and shit. And...
I would guess no.
Huh. All right. Well,
shitty catchers go yard, but like better golfers generally make the cut.
Okay.
Like bad days out of Trout are more likely than, I would guess, are more likely than like large amounts of the field fucking that up.
Oh, now somebody in the chat's talking actual dog preparation. I don't love that Bama metal, Jesus.
Yeah, that's not the way that I want to do it. I mean, that sounds horrible. I mean, if it's humane, I'm in. I'd rather that not go.
How is that humane?
Huh?
How is that humane?
No, yeah. That one's not. That's the one I don't want to participate in.
Oh, okay. It's like, okay. Odd interpretation of humanity.
Yeah, no, that one sounds about as bad as it gets.
Yeah, so, no thanks.
Gregorius. That's what happened prior to it. I'd be like, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Gregorius or Abreu as our final baseball question of the night.
Bobby Abreu?
I would presume so.
No, you wouldn't.
Oh, Jose, sorry.
Gregorius.
Is Jose Abreu the son of Bobby Abreu?
No.
Are we sure?
Positive.
Okay. I didn't realize Abreu was that popular of a name. Fine, whatever.
Really?
I mean, like, there have been a lot of baseball Abreu's, but like Vlad Guerrero is related to Vlad Guerrero.
That's his son.
Yeah, so why couldn't Jose and Bobby have been a thing?
You want the real answer?
Isn't Bobby like crazy old?
Yeah, I mean, kinda.
So like, I think Bobby's like 42 and Jose is like 24.
No.
No?
31.
Really? Jose Abreu's that old?
He came from Cuba, man.
It
took him a while to break free. If you were Bobby Abreu's kid, he'd have grew up at some fucking prep school in southern Florida. Not
like, I know the
hopping on a dinghy and praying for his life.
The Vlad thing is not the best analogy, but like, I guess this isn't a good one either. But like, Lance McCullers is Lance McCullers, so I don't know. The Abreu's could have been related. It's not the craziest theory.
If it is, then Abreu that's why Vlad Guerrero's kid is playing baseball at 19 and getting drafted, and Jose Abreu's, like hiding in a freight truck trying to get here.
Bobby Abreu absolutely could have had a kid at 13. I grew up in the Bronx, and there are definitely people who had kids at 13, so it's not impossible. For whatever, yeah, sure. Fine. Cavs Celtics predictions. Let's close out on that. Who do you have tonight?
Oh man, I'm having trouble reconciling what I think is going to happen from what I want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say
give both out.
I'm going to say that the Celtics win the game. I'm cheering for the Cavs.
I think the Cavs win, but the Celtics make it closer than last game. Like, I think the Celtics maybe are in the lead.
Oh, they don't win by 30?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a 30-point win. I'll go on a limb and say I don't think it's going to be a 30-point win again.
Aggressive prognostications coming here.
I think this is one where like the Celtics have the lead for chunks, and then the Cavs come back and win it at the end.
I mean, I'm kind of stupid for saying that I think Boston's going to win. It's a 7-point line. I should put my money where my mouth is. So, in theory, like, if you're asking me for real, I would pick Cleveland because I don't generally disagree with the Vegas line. I don't know. I don't trust Cleveland at all.
Yeah, I don't trust Cleveland either, and I don't trust the fact that George Hill was a big linchpin of their success last game, knowing what George Hill is as a player.
I would happily put some money on Boston plus 285.
I'd agree with that. If I had a little gambling scratch, I would consider throwing it that way. That said, I think,
if I were
you know,
in Vegas, I would put like $25 on that and go get a ridiculous steak if it hit.
I think Boston covers and keeps it close, but I think the Cavs win it and go to 2-2.
I hope so.
Yeah, and there we go. That's enough for the stream for tonight. Make sure if you're not subscribed to this channel that you subscribe, like all the videos. Tune in for Jake's Night Shift podcast and his and Josh's breakdown tomorrow. The MLB slate's a big old slate tomorrow, so that'll help you out a ton. If you're not a member yet, go to Osmo.com, get a premium membership so you'll know all the things that we reference, all the grades and ownership projections and things that we talk about. You can have for yourself in front of your fingertips, so you don't have to ask us and beg us like some sort of drifter looking for leave-ins. So get it yourself, Osmo.com, become a premium member. Josh, any parting words?
I don't know. Go all the guys that I'm overweight on, I guess.
Yeah, go Matt Carpenter. Get me back on the dong board. Give me my crown of dongs back. I guess I still have the crown, but I want to earn it. I want to earn my dongs.
And watch out for door frames in your own home.
Yeah, watch out for door frames. And if you are being abused in your relationship, there are numbers to call. So make sure to do that. It's not a joke. Men can be abused. So please go sign up for those things. And we'll see you guys.
Those rubber wristbands for that. Later, people.
Whatever helps. Bye.